Everyone is able to hear me, and my screens are visible. My computer screen is visible.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, I am not able to view a screen. Rajeshwari from Taikin.
Rajeshwari, you are not able to view the screen.
Yeah, it's only showing MBS Smart Innovators. That's it.
That is the screen. That's all. Still, we are not started. You are able to see the first screen, which says what is the topic of today.
4 p.m. budget and variance reporting, right?
Yeah, that is the screen. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not on video. Okay, only my computer screen is visible.
Oh, yeah, correct.
I'm just muting everyone so that it becomes clear for us to discuss. Okay, if anyone has any doubts in the morning session about multi-currency, are there any doubts? I'm yet to share this data. Okay, I'll be sharing the data at the end of the day, including the budgets and variance. Are there any questions, any clarifications that is required in the morning session we could take up before we get into the budgets and variance? Okay. Vinod Kotari, you are from Kotari Silks?
Yeah.
Okay, Dilip is asking, what is the debit credit adjustment you did? That is basically to adjust the unadjusted foreign exchange gain or loss. Rajesh, there was an internet disconnection in last 20 minutes, was not able to get it. Okay, so till what topic you are able to see, get through, Rajesh? Dilip, debit and credit adjustment is for adjusting the gain or loss, because Tally will not do any automatic entries. That has to be passed manually. So you want to see that. Okay, so you want to see how to do that adjustment entry. Okay, so the first is, if the multi-currency transaction has a loss, you need to first debit the expense and credit the unadjusted gain or loss. And if the multi-currency transactions ends up with profit, then you need to credit the gain or loss on foreign exchange ledger and debit the party. Okay, so that is what you need to do. So let us just look at before we get into it. Okay, few people are asking about that. Okay, so we'll just take you through that before we get into the new topics. Okay, so just hold on. Let me just open my Tally. One second. Okay, so just give me a minute. Let me just open the Tally. Yeah, everyone are able to view my screen. I've opened Tally and I'm on gateway of Tally. So hope everyone is able to get this gateway of Tally screen. Okay. So a few participants are asking to show once again the adjustment entry that we made. Okay, let me just go to this adjustment entry. Okay, so in the previous example, what we looked at was from Sydney Sports Inc. when we purchased the sports material. Okay, there was a gain on foreign exchange. So once when there is a gain, the system will automatically show you what is the gain that you have had. For that, you need to pass a JV. So for that, since it's a gain, okay, you need to debit the party and credit the income and gains account, the journal. And while you pass this transaction, okay, you need to adjust the bill wise. You need to take against which bill you are adjusting and take that bill wise details for adjustment. Okay, similarly, if there is any loss, okay, so we made one more transaction from an US customer where there was loss, right? So similarly, if there is any loss, you need to debit. So if, one second, so if there is any loss, you need to debit the gain or exchange loss account and credit the party. It's the reverse. That is what has been done. So is that clear? So Aprameya Vishwanath, you are not able to see the screen. So is everyone able to see the screen? Vishwanath, you need to check at your system, because most of the participants are able to see both the screen and hear the voice. Just check out your system, or else you need to just log out and re-log in. Okay, probably there might be some issues. Okay, so hope this journal entry is clear. So if the loss, if in case of loss, you need to debit foreign exchange gain or loss account and credit the party. If there is a gain, you have to credit the foreign exchange gain or loss and debit the party. And you have to select bill wise against reference and adjust the specific bills, relevant bills. Okay. So fine, let us move to today's topic. Today's topic is, the current session topic is about budgets and controls, budgets and variation report. Okay, so how many of you do budgets in your organization? Does anyone do budgets in your organization? Can you please type on the chat, yes, we do budgets. Okay, so Nisha Mehta, they do budgets. Yogesh Nayak, few times they do budgets. Nisha, you are from which company you are presenting? Zenpos Technologies. Okay, fine. So Krishna Prasad, few times with specific expense or income, you do budgets. Okay. Okay. So first thing is we need to understand why budgets are required. Okay. So for time being, forget your office, forget your business, forget your accounts. Do you do budgets in your life, in your personal life? Every month, do you do budgets? How much you earn, how much you want to spend? Do you plan before start of the month? Yes, everyone plans it, right? Say example, I earn salary of 25,000 every month. Okay, so I have my own budgets. I need to spend 5,000 on rent, 3,000 on home maintenance, 5,000 for my kids' schooling and education purpose, 3,000 for my wife. Okay, 5,000 to run the family. So like that, we have our own budgets. Correct? So what is budgets basically? Basically, budgets are nothing but a planning before we start our routine, so that we can plan and do the execute the work whatever we have planned. So to execute the work whatever we have planned, we need to do budgets, because to execute the work we need money. Okay, so as the organization grows, most of the organizations will have budgets, because typically without budgets it's very difficult to work, and it's very difficult to foresee what is going to happen. So if you ask me, everyone does the budget. Every individual, every organization, everyone does the budget. But only thing that we need to ask is, are we doing the budgets in the formal manner or informal manner? I think 90% of us do the budgets in informal way, where most of the things are in our head. It is not recorded anywhere. That's it. Do you all agree with me? Yes. Okay. So today we are on 1st of April. New financial year has started, year 2021. Okay. Now most of the business owners, the management, will start thinking on what we should be doing this financial year. What should be the growth rate for this financial year? Say example, last year we have done 1 crore of business. So they will have their own plan. So if I have done 1 crore of business last year, okay, my plan is to increase my revenue by 25%. Means I need to grow by 25%. So I need to sell more. I need to service more. So this is the plan on first day of the month, first day of the year. I would not have put it into records on an Excel sheet or anywhere, but that's always running in my head. Okay. So once when I plan that, okay, I need to grow by 25%, accordingly, my expenses will also grow. If I spent 70 lakhs last financial year, my expenses will also go up. All right. So that is what we actually want to record and say, what is our budgets? What are our plans? How do we plan our year forward or quarter forward or month forward? Whatever we plan, when we put it onto record, that is what we call it as budgets. It's in simple terms. Of course, you could go to Google and find out the exact definition of budgets. Okay, Google will give you 2-page definition on what budgets are, but ultimately it's very simple. Okay, how much should I earn this year? What is the plan that I need to earn this year? Accordingly, what is the plan how much I should spend this year? Okay, so this will give some indication saying that, okay, how do I arrange for the funds? Okay, where do I get more business? What should I be doing? All right. I always tell my colleagues in my office, first thing is you need to have some target. Say example, I need to drive my bike from Bangalore to Mysore, but I don't know the route. Okay, but if I know my destination as Mysore, then I will start finding out which is the right road that will take me to Mysore. But if I don't have the target, if I don't have the destination, if I'm not clear on that, then whichever road I take, okay, it might take to Mysore or it might take to Chennai also. We never know. Do you all agree with this? So at the start of the period, at the start of the year, most of the businesses will start doing planning. When they start doing planning, they will arrive at some of the goals, goal settings. This is what they record it and they put it as budgets. So typically we find two kinds of budget in the businesses. One is revenue targets. Okay, that's nothing but budgets itself, revenue targets. Second is expense budgeting. Okay, so example, in my organization, if I had done 1 crore last year, now first thing is I'll call all my team members and I will give them one lecture. I'll give them one message saying that, see, look, this year we need to grow by 20%, means we need to have our turnover from 1 crore to 1.2 crores. Okay, so my team member Manish will come back and tell me, sir, while we have to grow by 20% from 1 to 1.2 crores, he will come and tell me, sir, I need 4 members, additional members in my team. So I need to hire 4 more people. So what is going to happen to me? I will end up spending more money on salaries. So I need to plan for that. If I don't plan for that, then my revenue targets might not be achievable. So typically in any organization, you find two kinds of budgets. One is your revenue budgeting. Second is your expense budgeting. Right? Then in your tally, since you are recording all your financials, you have the actual figures. How much of revenue you have earned, how much of sales you have done, how much of expense you have done, how much of purchases you have done. Those things are already there in your system. Then it's easier for you to compare and tell, saying, how are we progressing? Are we progressing to reach our goals, or are we on a different direction? This is what budgets are all about. Okay, so while this is in simple terms, this is what budget means. Okay, now we'll just also cross check whether will it help in the purpose what we have defined. Will it help in increasing the efficiencies? Yes, of course it will help, because we know our targets, we know our budgets, okay, and we know what we can spend for, we know what we cannot spend for. So that will absolutely increase the efficiency. Right? Okay. So before we move, does anyone have any queries on the simple understanding of budgets? If anyone has any queries on simple understanding of budgets, please type on your chat box as to what are your queries before we move on to tally. Okay, so let's get into how do we configure budgets in tally. Right? So I'm using the same data. We'll continue with the same data. So now, to create budgets in tally, we need to go and enable budgets. Okay, so few members are asking, they need explanation once more. Okay, so what are budgets in any business? Always at the start of the year, there is a planning that is going to happen. So the businesses will plan and tell how much of growth that we need to do in the current year. Example, last year, that is 1920, we had earned 1 crore of revenue. We did 1 crore of revenue. Okay, and our expense example was 70 lakh rupees and our profit margin was 30 lakhs. This is on a broader picture. So what happens is, when we start the new financial year, we will take that figure as the base figure, previous what we did. And now on this, we will also look at various other factors. Okay, what is going to happen to the market? Okay, how the markets will move. Okay, how the demand and supply will be there for the next 1 year. So based on that, okay, management will arrive saying that, okay, we need to grow by 25%. Example, I'm just saying we need to grow by 25%. So 1 crore was last year revenue what we achieved, which means we have to grow by 25%, means we need to do 1.25 crores the current year. So to do that 1.25 crores current year, then further we start planning. That is called our revenue budgets. Doing 1.25 crores is the revenue budget. Okay, now based on the revenue budget, only if you have a revenue budget, that's not sufficient. You are also making expenses. You also need to spend money to do business. So parallelly, you will also have your expense budgeting. So let us take an example. Last year we did 70 lakhs of expenses. So once when the expense budgeting is done, okay, the management will discuss with everyone and say, okay, so to drive 25% growth, okay, the management will say, okay, we are ready to spend 12% more on expense. Means for a 70 lakh expense budget, 12% is 12 sevens are 84, 8.4 lakhs. Okay, so 78.4 lakhs will be the expense budget. Okay, so these budgets has to be done. Initially, we need to plan, work out on these budgets. Then once when we work out on these budgets has to be recorded in some place. Okay, most of the people today do that in Excel. They record it on Excel. Okay, but the beauty of Tally is your actual figures, actual expenses, actual incomes are recorded in Tally. The actual figures are already available in Tally. Only thing is, if you just update the budgets, it will start telling you what is the difference, how much more you need to still earn, or how much money you still have to spend. All those things will be available in your system. So that is what you could do on Tally budgets. Okay, now I hope it's clear for the participants. Okay, we could move on seeing in Tally how to do the budgets. Right? So again, in default, once when you have logged into Tally, if you go to accounts info, so what you have is group, ledgers, currency, voucher types, and quit. Right? So you don't have budgets. So to create budgets, to enable budgets, click on F11 features, accounting features, and you have an option over here, budget and scenario management. Enable this budget and scenario management and save. Once when you do that, on your accounts info, you get a new menu called budgets. Clear? This is where initially you will create the budgets. Okay, so once when you go to budget, so there is create and alter, because since we have not done anything, it is just showing us create and alter. So you can either create the budgets or alter the budgets. You can't, so there is nothing called view of the budgets. Okay, so once when I go to budgets create, I could give the name of the budget, and I could say under which it comes, the primary budget, and what is the time frame of this budget, from what date to what date we need to maintain these budgets. Okay, that is what we need to define, and define at what level we want to see the budgets, either at the group level or at the ledger level. Okay, so let me just create one budget. Example, I'll just say there is one overarching budget called budget 2019-20 for the year 1920. It's a primary budget which will start from 1st April to 31st March. So it is for whole year. Right? So at what level you want to set budgets? You want to set budgets at the group level or at the ledger level? Say example, I want to set at the group level. So I'll just say yes. Now it will list out all your groups. You could take which group. Say example, I want to take revenue budget. So I'm just saying sales, on closing balance and on net transaction. There are two kinds of budgets that you could fix. So let me just show you first the closing balance budget. And example, I'll just say my budgets for 1920 is 1 crore. Revenue, this is revenue. Sales is nothing but revenue budgets. 1 crore is my sales turnover budget, that is sales turnover target. Okay, now I will say on purchase, okay, I have a budget of 40 lakhs for purchases, and for expense indirect I have 10 lakhs of budget, or whatever the budget that is available. Okay, so example, I'm just giving at this level. Let us see what is going to happen. Okay, this is budget for a group. Sales account is my revenue target, 1 crore. Purchase account is my expense, 40 lakhs. Indirect is again an expense, 10 lakhs. All right, so let me just close this budget. Okay, let us come to group later and save this budget. Okay, so I will tell you, Mr. Krishna Prasad, what's about the closing balance and net transactions. Okay, so first is you have just saved the budget. Okay, I'm just showing you once again. Let me go to alter. I have created one budget for the period April to March 19 to 20 at the group level. My sales account, 1 crore is the target. Say revenue target, that is the sales target. That is what I have put as budget. Purchase account, the purchase I don't want to exceed 40 lakhs. Then income, indirect expenses, I don't want to exceed 10 lakh rupees. This is for the whole year on closing balance. Right? Now I have done the budgets. Okay, now I am doing my day-to-day transaction. That is my actual purchase, sales, payment, receipts, all those entries that I'm doing it in Tally. Right? So I could go and view display trial balance. Trial balance, what is trial balance? Okay, it's your first PUC commerce question. Okay, what is trial balance? I believe everyone knows what is trial balance. I need not explain what is trial balance. So this trial balance is showing me I have a sales of 1,93,000. I have a purchase of 49,68,000. This is my actual. Right? Okay, so few of the participants are asking what is trial balance. So trial balance is a balancing report of your financials at a given particular period, which will show all the heads of the accounts and what is the net balance. Okay, that is what the trial balance is. Okay, so here I have a trial balance where I have a sales. This is the actual number. Sale I have done of 1.93 lakhs. And purchase I have done 49,68,000. Okay. Now I want to see against the budget where we stand. Okay. So what I could do is I could just there is multiple ways to look at this budgets. Okay, reports. I will show all the ways. First, just click on add a new column. Again, from 1st April to 31st March 2020. for the base currency. Show the value. Say here you have show the value of what? Budgets. Because we created the budget 1920. Okay. So here you could look at first column is your actual figures. The second column is your budgeted figures. Are you able to see this? 1 crore is my sales budget, but I have done 1.93 lakhs. 40 lakhs is my sales budget, purchase budget, sorry. I have done 49 lakhs of purchases. Indirect expenses, I have 10 lakhs budget, but I have not still done any expenses. That's what it is showing me. Okay. I could add one more column to see the difference. Difference is the variance. Budget, variance, show yes. So the third column is showing me the difference. My budget is 1 crore sales budget. I have actually done 1.93 lakhs. I am yet to do 98 lakhs 06,000, which is almost 98% is still I am far away. But if I look at the purchases, I have 40 lakhs of budget, but I have spent 49 lakhs. So I have spent excess of 9 lakh 68,000, which typically means I have spent more than 24% of my budgeted money. Right? Is this clear? This budget is what we have defined. This budget is for 1 full year. But actual transaction we have done only till June. So it is just showing only till June. Okay. So I'm just showing this report once again for the benefit of others. Okay. When you go to trial balance, this trial balance you are looking from 1/4 for the whole year. This is for the whole year that you are looking your trial balance. You have a sales and purchase values because we have done the budgets for sales, purchase and indirect expense. So add new column and say show budgets 1920 without variance. So this is my actual budget column and this is my actual expense, actual value columns, and this is my budget column. Now I want to see the difference between this and this, budget versus actuals. I could add one more new column and take the budgets along with variance. So my first column is actual, second column is budget, the third column is the variance report, that is difference report. 1 crore minus 1,93,000 is 98 lakh 06,000. 40 lakhs is the budget, 48 lakhs has been spent, 49 lakhs has been spent. So 9 lakh extra has been spent. So it is showing in minus and it is showing minus 24%. Is this clear? Any questions on this? Okay. One more simple way to look at the budgets. So where I showed you how to add this, one more simple way to look at the budgets is you have a shortcut menu over here. If you just click Alt B on this report, okay, variance report, it is automatically taking the first column as budget, the second column as actual and third column as variance. Right? Okay, so if you are clear on this, then we can move to the next configuration. Okay, there are a lot of people who are asking what is the difference between the closing balance? Why are you taking closing balance while creating the budget? Okay, so let me just take you through the budget creation once more. I told we'll come to that later. Okay, now I'll explain you what is this closing balance and what is this net transaction. There are two types, right? Type of budget, closing balance budget and net transaction budget. So what it means, say always when you look at the variance report, that is the budget versus actual report. Okay, so there are two ways that you look at. See, example, I've done budget of 40 lakhs for purchases and 10 lakhs for indirect expense. Indirect expense includes my salaries and wages, my monthly expenditures, rent, everything, right? But will I spend that money only at once, or I spend money over a period of time? How do we spend our expenses? We do expenses every month, right? Not at one shot. We don't pay rent at one shot in a year. We pay rent every month. Similarly, we pay salaries every month. We don't pay salaries once a year, right? There are a lot of expenses which happens on a monthly basis. There are a lot of expenses probably which happens on a weekly basis. Okay, so while we do that expenses, when we have the total budgets, say like example 10 lakhs of my indirect expense, so that 10 lakh actually has to get divided by 12 because I want to apportionate this money into number of months or number of days, correct? So if you want to do that, then you need to use, while you create the budget, you need to use type of budget. Generally, the sales is on closing balance because whatever said and done, I want to do 1 crore of business. Okay, that I cannot compromise on that number. So as a management, I'm okay if you do it in first quarter, the whole 1 crore and sleep for next 3 quarters, or you do all 1 crore in the last quarter. I don't care, but I want 1 crore to be done. But when it comes to expense, I can't make that statement because expense every month I need to spend money, right? So example, okay, so for indirect expense, then since I need to spend every month, I need to apportionate this 10 lakh rupees that what I want to spend. So I will make this budget type as on net transaction, means it will automatically apportionate based on number of days. So 10 lakhs, the budget of 10 lakhs, 1 year has 365 or 366 days. So in this case, it is 366 days. So 10 lakhs divided by 366 into number of days is what the budget will take for. Right? So let me just change this and see how my variation reports looks like. Okay, so for expenses I have done variation report. Okay, so let me do one thing. Now let me go to the same report, display, trial balance. And this is for what period? Actual report is for what period? From 1st April to 30th June, means for 3 months. So April is 30 days, May is 31 days, June is 30 days. So typically it is 91 days is the actual period that has completed. For actual period of 91 days, okay, our expense budget, if you look at, there is debit and credit and nullified, and we have a purchase of 49 lakhs. Okay, now if you look at the variance report, budget variance report, look at this. This will still continue because, as I told you, sales budget, I don't care whether you do it on first day, first month, first quarter, or last day, last month, last quarter. I want this 1 crore to be done. In that case, set the budget as closing balance. For expenditures, say example, indirect expenditure. How much of budget I had given? What was the budget I had specified for indirect expenditure? Can anyone tell me what is the budget that I had specified for indirect expenditure? Yes, it was 10 lakhs. What is showing on the screen? What is showing on the screen for indirect expenditure budget? Yes, it is 2,48,633. How this 2,48,633 came? Okay, it is very simple. It is, I'll just show you, and I will show you one more magic in Tally. How many of you know that in Tally there is a calculator that's available? Good. Few of the people know where the calculator is available. Okay, just go to Tally and press Control N. Control N is for the shortcut key for calculator. Okay, so my calculator has got opened over here. In the bottom, you are able to see the calculator. So what I'm going to do is, my budget was 10 lakh rupees for indirect expenses. This is for 366 days, because in the financial year 1920 there are 366 days. Okay, into number of days that we have actually worked on, into 91 is what? 2,48,633.88. So when you are setting the budget, if you use the option as net balances, it will accordingly, it will apportionate and take the appropriate budget values. And if you are using, if you are configuring with closing balance, it means that irrespective, whenever you look at the report, the budget numbers cannot change. It is sacrosanct, means no one can change that values. So how it works is very simple. You just go and check out with anyone. Okay, in most of the organizations, the revenue budgets are fixed at the start of the year. They will not change. Targets are derived and targets are given to every salesperson. But expenditure budgets will always vary. There might be some tough time, like the current lockdown that's happening. Okay, we can't reduce the expenditure. Okay, we can't say no, I'll not pay for someone's salaries. It's not possible. So we need to spend money. Okay, but in few of the cases, okay, based on how the market reacts, based on the reality of the situation, organizations management might go back and revise these budgets. All right, so most of the time you could create your own budgets, okay, based on the net balances, net transaction balances, or on closing balance, and you could start seeing the reports. Clear on this? Any questions? Can we move forward? Okay. The next topic on budget is basically what we looked, the budget was for groups, right? Now the budgets, you could also configure the budgets for ledgers. Okay, that is the last level. For which ledger? Say example, I created a budget of 1 crore rupees for my sales group, right? And I created 40 lakhs budget for my purchase group, and I created 10 lakh rupee budget for my expense group. Now I could go on breaking it up. Okay, say example, I'll just show you. Let me just take the expense budget. So in the expense, what are all the list of expenses that we do? Say example, I'm just going to create few of the ledgers. Say example, electricity and water. Okay, this is an expense. Okay. On net transaction means every month I'm going to spend this. Say example, every month probably I'm spending 2,000 rupees. So I'll just keep a budget of 25,000 rupees per year. Okay. Office rent. On net transaction, every month I'm supposed to pay 25,000 rupee office rent. So my budget is 3 lakhs. Okay. Salaries and wages. So I'm just saying Alt-C, creating a ledger. Salaries and wages. It's an indirect expenditure. Okay. On net transaction, salaries and wages, I'm going to spend 6 lakh rupees. 50,000 rupee per month. Sorry. Right. Next, I have sales and marketing expenses. This is an indirect expenditure. On net transaction, while I have 10 lakhs, I have already have 9 lakh 75,000. So I'm just saying 9 lakh 25,000. So I'm just saying 75,000 is my budget. So the total is my 10 lakhs now. Right? So I did budget for the ledger level. Okay. Now I have created a lot of new ledgers like salaries, water and electricity, office rent, but I have not actually made any transaction. We need to make some real transactions for that. So let me just do every month, let me put few transactions. Okay, so I'm just going and making a payment entry or a JV entry. Okay, so it's simple. Let me just make few payment entry. Okay, say example, on 24th of April through cash, I'm paying electricity and water charges of 2,500 rupees. Bill has come, so I paid. Okay. On 25th, we need to pay rent. Every 25th, we need to pay rent to landlord. Vikram, who is our landlord. Okay, so I need to pay rent. So I'm just saying office rent of 25,000. Through check, I'm paying. Okay. And on 30th, we are paying our salaries. Okay, so it is April, I have paid 60,000 salaries. Clear? Okay, so we had salaries, we had rent, we had water and electricity, and we had one more, sales and marketing. Okay, so sales and marketing, I don't have any expense in the month of April. Okay, let me just say currently I have not spent anything in the month of April. So now if I look at the report of my trial balance for the month of April alone. So I'm just going to trial balance and I'm saying to date is 30th of April. So this is my April figures. What is my indirect expenses now? 97,500. So it is giving me the breakup of 2,500 water and electricity, office rent, salaries. Right? Now, if I want to see the budget variance, just click on budget variance. So what it is showing me, my budget is 81,000. I have spent 97,50,000 and actually I have spent 18,000, 18% more. How did I get this 81,967? It is simple. Again, go back to calculator, Control N for calculator. 10 lakh is my budget for the year, divided by 366 days into 30 days in the month of April. Right? It is 81,967.21. That is my budget value. You are able to see here the budget value. But actually what I have spent is 97,500. So I have excess spent of my budget, 15,000 I have spent excess. Now if you just want to break up and see where did you spend this 97,500, you could just click on Shift and Enter on this screen, which is giving you the breakup over here. So the budget for electricity and water is for the month of April, it's 2,049. But actually we have spent 2,500. So we have excess spent 450. Similarly for office rent, budget is 24,590, but we have spent 35,000. So why have we spent 35,000? If you just enter, it will also show you the breakup of 35,000. So you have spent 10,000 first and 25,000 later. On 8/4 you have spent 10,000, and on 25th of April you have also spent 25,000. So 35,000 rupees has been spent. But the budget was only 24,590. So you have spent excess of 42%. Salaries and wages. Budget was 49,000. But actually 60,000 is spent. So excess money has been spent. Sales and marketing. 6,147 is the budget. But actually we have not spent anything. So the whole money is still available. So what this gives is a very clear picture of line item wise at the ledger level, what was the budget and how you are spending that money. Yes, Ramesh, 8th April advance was created in the previous session. I'm using the same database. Okay, so you see a lot of previous transactions are also associated with this data. Yes, so that is the reason it is excess, because in the previous session we had one 10,000 rupee entry for office rent. So is this clear? The difference between the closing balance of the budget and net transactions of the budget? Okay. That's good. Okay. You could also see this is one place where I showed you the budget variance. Okay. The budget variance is available on most of the financial reports that is available for you. Okay. So I'll just show you different reports from where you could access the budgets. Example, you could go to accounts book, you could go to group summary and say example sales group. Here also you could see the budget variance report. Okay, say example indirect expenses. Here also you could just click on this budget variance report. Okay, now if you look at for the whole 1 quarter, the budgets have changed. If you look for April, it is 1/3. Okay, if you look for April to June, it will again be for that specific quarter. So it is a very, very dynamic report. Okay, so especially for the management and for the and for the team who are doing analysis, this report plays a very, very major role. Right? So does anyone want any clarity in this? Any clarifications required? Okay. Now let us move to the some of the specific things that we have not covered. Okay, so let me just can we get profit and loss account like this? Manjula is asking, can we get profit and loss account? I don't think you will be able to get profit and loss account. Let me just check, because budgets are always set for either the group or the ledgers. Budgets are not set for the profit and loss account. So in the profit and loss, you don't have budget variance column. So Nisha is asking a question, what is going to happen if we edit budgets during the year? If you edit it, automatically the report will also get changed. Can we edit budgets during the year? Yes, edit of budgets are possible. So example, I'll just show it to you. So now I will go to budgets and I will say, sorry, I made a mistake. Okay, my expense budget, or for some of the things I've done some mistake in the budgeting. Okay, this is sales is not 1 lakh, it is actually 9 lakhs. Sorry, it's not 1 crore. Okay, by mistake, okay, I had typed 1 crore, actually it is 10 lakhs. Purchase, it's not 40 lakhs, actually it is 4 lakhs. Indirect expense, okay, it is not 10 lakhs, actually it is 2,50,000. So I just changed this budget. Okay, accordingly, I will also change the ledger wise budget. Okay, so electricity charges remain same. Okay, office rent, it is not 3 lakhs. Example, it is 1,80,000. Okay, salaries and wages, oh no, it is not 6 lakh. We are just so what was our budget for 2.5 lakhs? Okay, so office rent, say example, I'll just say it is 1,20,000. It is 90,000. This is 15,000. So this is my budget. So I'm just changing the budget. I just change the budget, alter the budget. Now if I just go and look at the report and click on budget variance, there's automatically recomputed the values. So now purchase has become 4 lakh budget, but actual remains the same because this is my transactions. Okay, indirect expenditure, I have 62,000 budget now, but actually I have spent 97,500. So we have spent 55% extra. Sales budget, it is 10 lakhs, not 1 crore. I have done 1.93 lakhs, so I have done almost 19% of the budgets. Earlier it was just showing 0.9% of the budgets. Right? So you could go and change the budgets whenever you want. Yeah. So one more questions. Can we keep budgets for month and year separately, or can we do it? So one thing is you could have any number of budgets. There is no restrictions in having budgets. You could create any number of budgets that you want. One budget might be for monthly, one budget might be for quarterly, one budget might be for yearly. One separate budget for your expense management, separate budget for your revenue tracking. Okay, you could have a budget, under budget you could have few more budgets. Those things are also possible. Okay, so like example, let me just show you. While creating a budget, I just created one yearly budgets, right? So I'll just go to accounts info, budgets, alter. So while I create this budget, so this is my yearly budget. Now what I'll do is I'll go and create one more budget, Q1 budget. This is from 1st April to 30th June. So now again I'll start creating my sales budget on closing balance. Okay, is 3 lakh rupees. Purchase budget is 1,25,000 rupees. I could break this. Expense budget is on net transaction. It is 90,000 rupees. The example I'm just giving for 3 months. I could go here and say, example I'm just showing only for expense budgeting. Salaries and wages, what I had the 90,000, I need to break this up. Salaries and wages is 30,000 rupees that 50,000 rupees that I could spend, 45,000 rupees that I could spend for this quarter. Okay, sales and marketing, I don't have any budgets. Electricity and water, I can't say I will not pay, so I need to have a budget of 7,500 rupees for this. Okay, then I have salaries and wages, electricity, office rent. Okay, office rent on net transaction, I'm saying it is 15,000 for this quarter. I could have this budgets. Save this. Okay, this is a separate budget. Now I could go and look at the trial balance. Now when I look at the variance report, I can select against which budget I want to compare. I could compare with Q1 budgets, or I could compare with the yearly budget. If I just compare with the Q1 budget, it is arriving the value based on the Q1 numbers, Q1 budget numbers, right? So if I look at here, so here my budget is 90,000, but I have spent 97,500. So again, 7,500, 15,000, 45,000 is what the ledger wise budget that I had, and this is my actual numbers, and this is the variance. So I could have any number of budgets. I could have budgets, under budgets I could have one more budget. So I could create the way I want to use this budget. Right? Is that clear? So how many of you have understood this, and how many of you wants to get the explanation once more? Milan is asking a question. When we cross the budget amount, can we get a notification when we are doing the entry? Milan, you are from which organization? Miloni. I don't know who is the user. What's the username? Miloni, you are from which organization? Saupernica Projects. Okay. See, in standard tally, okay, so forget standard tally. From the business perspective, if there is a bill, example, I have a budget of say 10 lakh rupees for expenses. But actually, if I have gone and purchased and if it's crossed 10 lakh budget, will we do that payment for that purchase or not? So can everyone answer my question? I have 10 lakh rupee expense budget, but my team has gone and purchased something, and now the budget has crossed and they have made 11 lakh rupee expenses. Will we pay our suppliers or not? Will we account that 11 lakh rupee bill or not? We should account. We should pay. Budgets are our internal numbers. Supplier is least bothered about our budgets. Supplier will say, boss, you have purchased, please make me the payment. Right? So effectively, in Tally, it will not stop you from accounting. The reason is very simple. Tally is flexible and you can maintain more than one budgets. So it's very difficult to compare against which budget it has to be compared. Okay, so in that scenario, Tally doesn't give you either the notification or Tally will not stop you from doing the data entry. See, example, in this example itself, what I'm showing you on the sample data, already some expenses have been made. Now we are going and creating a budget. So how will the system understand? So typically on a default Tally, it will not stop you from doing an actual transaction, nor it will give you any notification if the value of the budget is crossed. For simple reason, budget can be created any point of time. Second is you could have multiple budgets. So against which budget it has to compare, the system will not understand. Okay. The third is, from the business perspective also, it's not right for us to block or notify while making transaction, because budgets are always planning. Okay, 99% of the time, actuals are not as per the plan. Always there is a variation. Whether it is a very small organization which has 5 employees, or whether it is a big organization who has 5,000 employees. The truth of the budget is, the budget and the actuals will not match. Okay, so that is the reason behind why we can't give either the notification or blocking of actual transactions. Right? Okay, so there is one request from Vikram. I think the report will show negative. That's all. Yes, you're perfectly right, Vikram. If it crosses the budget, it will just show negative. Dinesh, explain once more. Which portion of the budgets needs to be, you want to hear once more? Dinesh, if you could just tell me which portion of the explanation you want to hear once more, we could go with that again. Okay, so before we get a reply from Dinesh, we'll just go back to our presentation and look at, have we covered all the points? Budget configurations, we did. Budget ledger wise, group wise, we saw how to create. We understood what's the difference between closing balance and net transactions, type of budgets. Is that clear? Okay, then variance report. At the trial balance, how do you look at the variance report? Okay, we'll do that. Okay, not a problem. We will explain to you. Okay, just hold on, Dinesh. We'll explain to you while we will look at the others who has the questions. Okay. So at the time of voucher entry, will Tally indicate the exceeding the limit? I think it's the same question what Miloni asked Krishna Prasad. No, Tally will not indicate while doing the transaction. You have to go at the report and look at the report. See, let us understand today in generally how Tally is getting used in a business. Always in 95% of the organizations who are using Tally for their accounting, first actually the expense is done, then it is getting recorded in your system in Tally. Do you all agree with it? Purchase department will not wait for us to account and then do the purchase. Purchases are done and the bill comes to you for accounting. Do you agree with me? So those who are in your accounts, those who are in the accounts team, most of the people who are in accounts team, will bill come to you first before purchase or after they purchase? Yes, most of the people in most of the organization, bill comes to accounts department after they purchase for accounting and making the payment. At that point of time, if we stop you from accounting, will your supplier wait for you? He will not wait. So what you need to do is, now when you create this budget and the variance report on a regular basis, either on a weekly basis or on a daily basis, you should be sharing this values to your purchase department, saying that, see, look, the budget was 10 lakhs, you have already spent 8 lakhs, now you have only 2 lakhs to be spent. Then they can start issuing the purchase orders based on that. Krishna Prasad, not in any of the tallies there was an indication of budgets while doing transaction. Probably somebody would have customized a tally for you. Okay, we could also customize. What we are talking here is about the standard tally. We could do a lot of customizations. We could block doing data entry if it cross budgets and all. Those are all additional customizations, not on standard tally. Okay, fine. So I think I have covered all the topics. Anyhow, there is one participant who want to go through this again. So we will be going through this budgets again once more. Okay, those who want to hear this once more can stay back, and those who are clear and wants to log out can log out. Okay, once again, those who are logging out, okay, those who are very clear, those who doesn't have any queries, my request is, if you need the data for practice. Okay, like few of the people who had sent in the morning the mail, please send the mail to this specific email ID that is visible on your screen, along with all the details, so that we will share the data for you to work on. Okay, and once more, I'm just requesting people, those who have not shared your experience, please make 1 or 2 minutes of video and share your experience, so that we will also get to know what improvisations that we need to do. How was your experience in attending this session? Okay, so before we close, before we go back to this session once more, okay, let us look at what is tomorrow's topics, so that you are all aware what we are discussing tomorrow. So tomorrow's topic is on your screen. So today we covered budgets and variance. Tomorrow we will be covering cost centers and cost categories. So both the sessions are cost centers and cost categories, but it's not a repeat session, because the topic contents are quite heavy. So it will take 2 sessions. Okay, so tomorrow we'll be discussing on cost center and cost category, that is profit centers and cost centers. And on Friday we'll be discussing on expense accounting and final reporting. Okay, so I request everyone, those who have not done any video, please share the video of what was